Okay, so let's start with your pediatrics infant care booster. We have your first concept. Ayan. So pediatric ICF, number one, we have your 5 to 30 seconds after birth. What is your first action? First, 5 to 30 seconds after birth, first to do is thoroughly dry the baby. So kailangan ma-dry natin agad si baby after birth. That is to prevent your evaporation heat loss. Sinabi natin kanina, one way to prevent your heat loss in terms of evaporation is to dry the baby. Number two, first 30 seconds, check your breathing of your baby. Kailangan na ma-check natin yung kanyang breathing. Is the baby breathing or gasping? Kapag siya po ay not breathing, you must perform your bag valve mask ventilation. Yun yung ginagawa natin. Resuscitate the baby by bag valve mask ventilation. Then after 2 minutes, the baby is pink and crying. So what is your next action? Skin to skin contact. Skin to skin contact. Facilitate your skin to skin contact, holding the baby prone in your maternal abdomen. So pag tanungin ka, anong position daw ni baby sa abdomen ni nanay, your answer is your prone position. Okay? So within 3 hours after your delivery, you can now apply the eye prophylaxis, the CRIDS prophylaxis application of 0.5% of erythromycin eye ointment. So ibig sabihin po niyan, yung ating erythromycin eye ointment ay hindi po natin yan binibigay right after the delivery of the baby. So we must perform first your 4 core step of EINC bago natin ilagay yung ating CRIDS prophylaxis. So that is our first part of our Pedia ICF. Okay, so what are the 4 core steps of your EINC or the essential newborn care? So the first step is the immediate thorough drying of the baby. So your first action right after the delivery of the baby is to dry the baby within the first 30 seconds of birth. Why? Because this can prevent hypothermia and you can also stimulate the respiration of the baby within the first 30 seconds. So ulitin ko So pwede mo kasi din siyang may stimulate na huminga by drying. So pagtanungin tayo kung ano po yung ating manner of drying, it should be rub dry. Rub the baby to dry, not patting. Not pat it should be rubbing to dry. But be cautious to remove your vernix caseosa. Baka kasi matanggal mo yung vernix niya. So dapat rub drying lang tayo pero di dapat natatanggal yung vernix caseosa ni baby. Next, after performance of your drying in the first 30 seconds, next action is skin-to-skin contact. So after that 30 seconds of drying, your next action is skin-to-skin contact. Yan. So anong gagawin mo next daw kapag katapos mong i-dry si baby? Skin-to-skin contact. In essential newborn care, we have your first step. Okay, within 30 seconds, your first action is to dry the baby to prevent what? To prevent your hypothermia. To prevent hypothermia and to stimulate the respiration of the baby, you must dry the baby with your warm, dry blanket. Ang second step po natin in EINC is to facilitate your skin-to-skin contact, held the baby prone in your maternal abdomen after 30 seconds. So meaning to say, after 30 seconds of your drying, ang next action na po natin ay skin-to-skin contact. Skin-to-skin contact. So anong position dapat ni baby sa ating skin-to-skin contact? Ang sagot natin, prone position. Next, third step of your EINC is the properly timed cord clamping. So nowadays, we are now clamping the cord after the pulsation stops. And when the pulsation of the cord stops, it stops at 3 minutes. So it will stop at 3 minutes. So you will apply the first clamp 2 cm above the base, then the second clamp 5 cm above the base. So yun po yung ating clamping of the cord. 2 cm, then 5 cm above the base. Dalawa po yung ating pag-clamp. First clamp is 2 cm and second clamp is 5 cm. So wag nating kalimutan yan. And next, after clamping the cord, no need to milk the cord. Why? Because milking the cord can cause intraventricular hemorrhage. It can lead to intraventricular hemorrhage. And after clamping the cord and cutting the cord, next step is to initiate what? Breastfeeding. The early initiation of breastfeeding within the first 30 minutes to 1 hour after birth. Tandaan niyo po yan. Kailangan ma-initiate na po natin yung breastfeeding ni nanay kay baby 30 minutes to 1 hour after birth. Naglaban ng 30 minutes tsaka 1 hour, ano pong mas the best na isasagot natin? 30 minutes. As soon as possible, kailangan manage na po natin si baby sa breast ni nanay. That is also to help the mother to promote involution para mag-contract na rin po yung kanyang uterus at para makuha na rin po ni baby yung necessary nutrients sa kanyang colostrum. Okay? So yun po. Sir, pwede pa ulit kung ilan cm siya kinakat? First clamp is 2 cm and the second clamp is 5 cm. So in cutting of the cord, it is cut near the first clamp. Near the first clamp po. Saan daw natin kinakat yung cord? Near the first clamp. Okay, so meaning to say, kung 2 cm yung first clamp natin, between 2 cm tsaka 5 cm doon mo puputulin yung cord. Yan. Sir, what if CS yung mother? Saan i-prone si baby? Sa chest po ni nanay. Skin-to-skin contact is still doable in cesarean section delivery. Pwede pa rin po silang skin-to-skin contact. Okay? Kung sa normal delivery, it is prone in the maternal's abdomen. Kapag CS naman, it is prone in maternal chest. Ayan. Next, newborn care. Number 1, priority after birth, the airway of the baby. Airway is still our number 1 priority. Next, the rapid assessment of the newborn, APGAR scoring. So APGAR scoring is done twice, within the first minute of life and after 5 minutes of life. Ulitin ko, ilang beses daw? 2. 1 minute and 5 minutes. Diyan po natin ginagawa yung ating rapid assessment, APGAR scoring. Ilang parameters po ang APGAR? 5. Appearance, pulse, grimace, activity, and the respiration of the baby. So yun po yun. So it is done twice. Okay? So APGAR of 1 is an indication of severely distressed newborn. So you need to resuscitate the newborn if the score is between 0 to 3. Pag 0 to 3, kailangan mong i-resuscitate yung baby. Okay? Mag-bag valve mask resuscitation ka. Or kapag kailangan ng ET tube, mag-ET tube po tayo. Kailangan mag-ET tube kung kailangan mag-ET tube. Okay? Pwede rin mag-CPR or ambu bag kapag tayo nagre-resuscitate. Tandaan lang natin, basta 0 to 3 ang score niya, total score niya, that is a need for resuscitation. Number 3, APGAR of 1 is severe distress. Basta 0 to 3 na po yung score ni baby, severely distressed na po yung ating newborn. So it needs resuscitation. Temperature regulation, production of heat is by brown fats. So marami din kasing babies na wala pang masyadong brown fats at birth. Especially kapag ma-premature yung baby, they are lacking of subcutaneous fats and the brown fats. So yun. Next, delivery room of the baby. Delivery room temperature of the baby, 25 to 28 degrees Celsius. Pag tanungin naman po tayo about the temperature of the delivery room, it should be 25 to 28 degrees Celsius. And lumalabas sa exam, temperature of the baby stabilizes in how many hours? 8 hours. In 8 hours, dapat stable na po yung body temperature ni baby. In 8 hours, dapat stable na po yung temperature ni baby. So, kailangan nag-stable na yung temperature niya, 36.5 to 37.5. Next, again, number 1, priority after birth is the airway. Number 2, APGAR scoring done twice. First is 1 minute after birth and next is 5 minutes after birth. So any score of 0 to 3 is severe distressed baby, needs resuscitation. Pag ito naman ay 4 to 6, moderately distressed or depressed. Pag 7 to 10 naman, well and good, walang problema yung bata. Yan. Newborn care pa rin. Eye ointment. Ano daw ang nilalagay natin sa mata ni baby after delivery? It's the 0.5% erythromycin eye ointment. Bakit tayo nagbibigay ng eye ointment? This is a CRIDS prophylaxis to prevent your gonorrhea eye infection. So kailangan po ay malagyan natin ng 0.5 erythromycin eye ointment yung baby para ma-prevent natin ang secondary gonorrhea and chlamydia eye infection sa kanila, which was being acquired by the newborn during your vaginal delivery. Nung nagkaroon ng contact yung mata niya sa kanyang vaginal secretion ni mother. Okay, so that's your CRIDS prophylaxis. So what is the manner of application? The manner of application of your CRIDS prophylaxis is inner to outer canthus and no rinsing of the eye after your application. Again, no rinsing of the eye after your application. Okay, next, number 4, we have your vitamin K. Pag sinabi naman nating vitamin K, it is a vitamin, not a vaccine. Tandaan niyo po it is not a vaccine, it is just a vitamin. So this vitamin is given to newborns, all newborns, to prevent your hemorrhagic diseases or bleeding. So pag sinabi nating vitamin K, binibigay natin yan in intramuscular injection. That is to prevent your hemorrhagic disease of the newborn. Pinanganak po kasi sila na sterile pa yung kanilang intestines. Wala pang mga normal flora or bacteria or mga microbiota sa kanilang intestines na magsisynthesize ng vitamin K. So as a health provider, we inject your vitamin K intramuscularly at the vastus lateralis. It should be given 1 milligram for term babies and 0.5 milligrams for preterm babies naman. Okay, ulitin ko. Sa ating vitamin K, it must be given 0.5 milligram for preterm babies and 1 milligram for your term babies. Sir, ilang ml po ba yung ating 1 milligram? Sagot? How many ml is 1 milligram of vitamin K injection? Ilang ml po dapat ang ibigay natin sa ating vitamin K? A, 1 ml. B, 0.5 ml. Ano sagot natin? It's your 0.5 ml po. Pag sinabi po natin 1 milligram of vitamin K, it should be 0.5 ml. So it is injected 0.5 ml or 1 milligram IM at the vastus lateralis muscle of your newborns. So all newborns must receive vitamin K because all newborns are at risk to hemorrhagic disease or bleeding. Tandaan niyo po yan. Next, where is the most common site of injection considered as the safest? It is considered as the safest site of intramuscular injection to newborns. Sagot natin, vastus lateralis. Yan po yung pinaka-safest site of intramuscular injection sa newborn. Vastus lateralis. Left or right? Left vastus. Again, ulitin ko. Saan itinuturok yung vitamin K? Left vastus lateralis. Kasi yung sa right, para kay Hepa B. Yan. Okay, next. So what are your assessment findings that needs to be referred or needs referral? So these findings will warrant your pediatrician's attention. Number 1, opaque pupil. Opaque pupil. Kapag yung mata ni babies may opacity, it must be referred. Why? Because this is a sign of your congenital cataract. Number 2, moist and foul discharges in the cord. Pag mabaho or moist yung cord ni baby, that is a sign of omphalitis, a cord infection. Omphalitis or cord infection. Number 3, if the baby wet 4 diapers only for 1 day or 24 hours. Why? Because normal diaper count in 24 hours should be 6 or more. Kailangan makawet po sila ng 6 or more diapers in 24 hours. So pag 4 lamang po yung nawet nilang diapers, baka dehydrated po yung ating newborn. Or inadequate yung kanyang milk intake during your breastfeeding. Next, report also any bulging or tense fontanelle because a tense or bulging fontanelle suggests increased intracranial pressure. So possible yung baby is suffering from any neurologic impairment or abnormalities. Baka meron siyang increased ICP due to your hydrocephalus or any abnormalities of the brain. Also, if the fontanelle is depressed or sunken, A depressed fontanelle or sunken fontanelle also indicates dehydration. So it should be referred. Next, another finding to be reported is lanugo over the forehead. Because normally in newborn, a term newborn should only have a lanugo at the shoulder blade or the scapular region. Sa scapula lang dapat makikita yung lanugo. Pero pati yung mukha niya may lanugo, that is a sign of prematurity. So the baby is premature, so it needs referral. Okay? Needs referral. And yung pinakasikat sa lahat, watch out for jaundice or yellowish discoloration of the skin within the first 24 hours after birth, because this is known as the pathologic jaundice. Because the normal jaundice will occur after 24 hours. Second day or third day, fourth day, pag nanilaw po siya doon, that is normal. But if the newborn turns yellow within 24 hours after birth, that is pathologic or abnormal. Okay? Pathologic or abnormal. So again, what are the findings that needs referral? Number 1, opaque pupils. Number 2, moist and foul discharges in the cord. Number 3, less than 6 wet diapers in 24 hours. Number 4, bulging fontanelle or tense fontanelle, and lanugo in the forehead, sign of prematurity. And number 6, jaundice in 24 hours, sign of pathologic jaundice or RH incompatibility. Baka nagkaroon po siya ng RH incompatibility nung siya po ay nasa sinapupunan pa ni Manny. Okay? So these are the top 6 assessment findings that needs to be reported. Next, normal assessments. Number 1, the caput succedaneum. Pag sinabi natin caput succedaneum, that is normal. That is the elongation and the coning of the head of the newborn. Okay, nag-elongate po or nagko-cone shape po yung ulo ni baby. So normal lang po yan. So don't worry. It will be absorbed by the suture lines. Again, it will be absorbed by the suture line because it can cross the suture line. So kailan siya mawawala? Caput succedaneum will disappear 1 to 2 days after birth. Ulitin ko. Caput succedaneum will disappear 1 to 2 days after birth. Pag wala kang nakitang 1 to 2 days, 2 to 3 days. Okay? Basta di siya tatagal ng 1 week. Di tatagal ng 1 week ang caput succedaneum. So since normal po itong mga to, wala po tayong gagawin, kundi i-document lang natin. Anong gagawin natin? I-document lang po natin. Next, cephal hematoma. Cephal hematoma is still normal, even though na nakakatakot yung kanyang pangalan na hematoma, normal lang po yan. So what is cephal hematoma? Cephal hematoma is what? Cephal hematoma, the parietal area of your newborn's head is swollen. There is a blood accumulation in the parietal area or the periosteum. And this cephal hematoma is still normal, but it causes jaundice. It causes jaundice. Next, number 4, cephal hematoma will disappear 6 to 8 weeks. Unlike kay caput succedaneum, nawawala po siya 1 to 2 days. Siya nawawala siya weeks after delivery. And frequently asked in exam question po ito, the head of the newborn is about disproportionately to the body length of 1/4 of its size. Ibig sabihin niyan, yung ulo daw ni baby is 1/4 of its body length. Malaki yung ulo niya sa kanyang body length. So ilan daw yung size ng head niya sa body length niya? 1/4. It is about 1/4 of its body length, the head of the newborn. Okay? The head of the newborn is about 1/4 of its body length. Next, normal assessments. Bloody discharge in the genitalia. Anong tawag natin doon? The pseudo-menstruation of your female newborn. So is it normal na meron tayong nakikitang parang mga bloody discharge sa genitalia ni baby? Yes, that is normal. Tawag doon? Pseudo-menstruation. Okay, ulitin natin. What is the term for your bloody discharge in your female genitalia? Pseudo-menstruation. And that is due to the influence of your estrogen hormone. It is your hormonal estrogen influences. Withdrawal of maternal estrogen hormone to the newborn. Okay? Again, normal po ba? Normal. Next, how about your Epstein pearl? What is Epstein pearl? Epstein pearl are the white glistening cysts. O, ulitin ko ha. Epstein pearls are the white glistening cysts into the buccal mucosa of the newborn. Meron kang makikita mga white bumps sa gums niya or sa kanyang buccal mucosa sa ngala-ngala ni baby. Ang tawag po natin doon, Epstein pearls. Do not remove your Epstein pearls. That is still normal. So what is the meaning? Why newborns have an Epstein pearls at birth? So the indication of this is the excess maternal calcium intake during pregnancy. Sobra-sobra kasi ang ininom ni nanay ng calcium nung siya'y buntis. On which trimester do mother transfer a substantial amount of calcium to the baby? Yes, third trimester po. Will we remove that bumps? No. Bawal po natin tanggalin yung mga white pearls na yon. Bawal. That is a sign of what? Calcium withdrawal. Next, number 3. That is your witch milk kung tawagin natin. Ang tawag doon, witch milk. W-I-T-C-H. Witch milk. So will you express the breast milk or the milk of the newborn? No. Do not express the milk coming out from the breast of the newborn. That is still normal. At anong nag-cause niyan? Hormonal influence of the mother. Estrogen hormone na naman. Anong hormone? Estrogen hormone ulit. Witch milk. W-I-T-C-H. Ang tawag natin doon sa phenomena na yan is witch milk. A normal phenomena in newborn or normal assessment in the newborn known as the witch milk. Anong hormone nag-cause ng witch milk natin? It is caused by your maternal hormonal estrogen withdrawal. Yan, withdrawal. Next, number 4. Another normal assessment to the newborn is the strabismus. What is strabismus? Cross-eyed po sila. Cross-eyed. And the myopic vision. Nearsighted po yung mga babies natin at birth. They can only view objects held from 7 to 15 inches away. They can only held to view objects 7 to 15 inches. 7 to 15 inches po. Yun lang yung nakikita nila. Okay, yun yung nakikita nila. Kaya nga pag may tanong kung ano yung pinaka-immature and underdeveloped sense ni baby at birth, your answer is the sense of sight. Yung paningin niya, hindi pa active yung sense of sight niya at birth. Madami pang kulang sa kanyang paningin. Example, yung color vision ni baby, wala pa yan for the first 3 months. Kasi 3 to 4 months pa niya na-achieve yung color vision niya. So the baby can view colored objects between 3 to 4 months. First 3 months, wala pa siyang colors. Black and white pa yung kanyang paningin. Okay, naintindihan po? Kailan daw nakakakita na ng mga colored objects si baby? 3 to 4 months. Yan, 3 to 4 months. Color, yan. Color vision is matured 3 to 4 months po. 3 to 4 months. And the vision of 2020 is achieved at 6 years old. 2020 vision, 6 years old. Years old po, not months. Itong ating color vision, 3 to 4 months. Yan, 3 to 4 months. Okay, next. Skin assessment. Fine downy hair. Anong tawag daw natin sa fine downy hair na yan? That fine downy hair is known as lanugo. Ano tawag doon? Lanugo. The more lanugo, the more premature the baby. Absence of lanugo, post-mature baby. Kapag absent na or scanty na yung lanugo niya, that is a sign of post-maturity. But if there's an overlaid, excessive lanugo, that is a sign of prematurity. Pag masyadong maraming buhok, premature. Number 2, we have your pinpoint white papules. Pag meron ka nakitang pinpoint white spots sa nose or skin ni baby, ang tawag natin doon is milia. Ang tawag doon? Milia. Milia ang tawag natin sa parang mga pimples ng whitehead sa ilong ni baby. Pero hindi yun pimples, hindi yun whitehead. Ang tawag doon pinpoint papules, white papules. So bakit may milia, sir? Okay, so minsan tinatanong din, it is the byproduct. It is the byproduct of a clogged sebaceous gland. Pag nabarahan kasi yung sebaceous gland ni baby, it can lead to milia growth. Tutubo yung mga milia sa ilong niya, sa cheeks niya. So will you prick the milia of the newborn? Syempre hindi. No, do not prick the milia. Do not prick the milia. Next, anong tawag mo daw sa white cheesy substance sa skinny baby at birth? What do you call to the white cheesy substance sa skinny baby? Vernix gaseosa. Pag tinanong ka man, ano daw ang tawag mo sa black or dark spot sa butts ni baby? Sa pet ni baby? Mongolian spot. Mongolian spot. And that is normal. Yan. And next, pag sinabi naman nating pink red spots, especially on the eyelids and nose, yan, eyelids, nape, at saka nose area ni baby, ang tawag natin doon is stork bites. Sir, mawawala din po ba yung milya? Yes po, mawawala din po yan. Basta normal, nawawala din. Basta normal, nawawala din. Again, so we have a Mongolian spot, the black or the dark spot in the butts of the newborn. Next, pag meron kang mga capillary dilatation, kung tawagin natin, pink red spots on the eyelids, nose, or sa, kung hindi man nose, sa kanyang nape area. So, ang tawag naman natin doon is your stork bites. Ang tawag natin doon is stork bites. Okay, the next is skin assessment pa rin tayo. Number 1, physiologic jaundice. If we say physiologic jaundice, it is the normal jaundice of the newborn. A jaundice that will occur 2nd to 3rd day after birth. So makikita mo to, pangalawang araw, pangatlong araw, or pang-4, pang-5. Basta hindi po ito lalagpas ng 7 days. Physiologic jaundice po yun. Physiologic jaundice kapag hindi po siya lumagpas ng 7 days. Next, pathologic jaundice naman ang tawag natin sa jaundice in 24 hours. Kapag po siya nanilaw in 24 hours, that is known as the pathologic jaundice. Harlequin sign. What is harlequin sign? The dependent part of the body is red while the upper side of the body is pale. Ito po yung madalas mong maobserbahan kapag nakahiga yung baby ng patagilid. Pagka side ni baby ganyan, makikita mo, half of the body is red while this side is pale. Tawag doon, harlequins. And that is still normal. Again, normal po bang harlequin sign? Normal po. Normal po ang harlequin sign. Next, number 4. Pag abundant yung vernix niya at saka lanugo niya tapos wrinkled ang skin niya, anong tawag natin doon? That is a sign of premature baby. Abundant vernix lanugo and with wrinkled skin, ang tawag doon, premature baby. Pero kapag overgrown na yung hair niya, may long nails na siya, tapos meron siyang skin desquamation or peeling off, post-mature na po yun. Pag nagpipeel off na yung skin niya, that is post-mature baby. Malinaw. Pag dry and patchy na siya, or parang parchment paper na siya, ang tawag natin doon is your post-mature baby. Basta tandaan nyo, sa post-mature baby, humahaba po ang kanyang buhok, humahaba ang kanyang katawan, humahaba na po yung kanyang kuko. Tawag natin doon post-mature baby. And if we say post-mature baby, ano pong tawag natin doon? Post-mature babies? They are the babies born after 42 weeks pregnancy. Again, pag post-mature, they are the newborns who are born or who was born after 42 weeks. Again, ulitin natin. Pag pinanganak after 42 weeks, ano tawag doon? Post-mature. Pag pinanganak 20 to 37 weeks, ano tawag doon? Before 37 weeks, ano tawag doon? Premature. Pag pinanganak ka 37 to 42 weeks, anong tawag mo doon? 37 to 42 weeks is term. Term baby. Term baby ang tawag doon. Kailan masasabi na full term? Kapag 40 weeks gestation siya. Pag 40 weeks pinanganak na, full term po yun. 40 weeks is the full term delivery. Yan. Again, pag 37 to 42 weeks, term po yun. Pero pag sinabi natin 40 weeks, full term po yun. Yan.